Yeah, okay.
Easier for you to sit down.
Should I just sit down?
I think you should. So
I just sit
face-
down.
Yeah,
Face
you
the
can sit
screen
down.
so that you can see what's happening,
Wow, no.
if it's possible.
Glad I washed my hands.
Me too.
See, I trim my
Hey,
fingernails.
there's no rubber dam on your finger.
So once, ideally, when you see the orifice, you put the files in. There's a few ways you can do it. Normally, I won't push it down. You do a quarter turn. That's what I call a quarter turn technique. Just turn and push up. The quarter turn is called a rotation. It's a clockwise motion. By going in and just remove the debris. So how far do you need to get down? So remember we had a lecture before. We need to get a glide path. A glide path means I want to make sure my size 10 files is just put in and drop down to the end. So how do I know how far I go down? Number one, you can measure from your radiograph. Say your radiograph is about 21. Then you see whether it can get down there. If you're lucky, you just do this rotation motion. If you're lucky, just a quarter turn, push up. Once you do that, make sure the canal is not dry. Plenty of irrigation. You push in, a quarter turn, up. Irrigation again. Just continue to do that. You can use probably you can use EDTA or hypochlorite. It doesn't really matter because the canal is not open up. If there's not much irrigation going in, but I don't want to be dry. So normally I'll put Mutin in and just go down and push up, go down, push up. Then you ask me, okay, it seems I'm not getting down anymore. What should I do? Then what I normally do, I get a size 15 in, turn up, then I go back to 10. You don't really do up and down, but you do a rotation. Quarter turn, up. Quarter turn, up. A quarter turn, up.
There's irrigation if you want to, Marcus.
Okay. Just,
Syringe right there if you want.
all right, just pretend I'm gonna wet the thing, okay.
And there's some gauze there, I think.
So make sure it's nice and wet. Then go in, up, go in, up. See what helps. So you will find that each time you open up with 15, then you can find that a 10 will go further down. Once you get further down to the end, you think that's the end, then you check your radiograph. Then see what is the end. If you've got an apex locator, even better. You're right, you brought my loops, I can't see.
Do you want to try mine?
So, okay, let's pretend. Is that right to the end now? Okay. So right now, I'm probably getting down to the end of a root, but you find that I can't get it down without turning. It is a glide path. It's not a glide path, I'm forcing myself down. So what I do, once I get down to the end, then we change to a different motion called up and down. So you up. Once you turn, get down to the end, you push up. Once you turn, get down to the end, push up. We call it, John West called smoothing. You smooth out the wall. So what I really want to do is I want to the point that I push my file in, we drop to the end. We have to keep doing that, make sure plenty irrigation. See, we can drop down to the end. So now, a bit better, I can push it down without too much rotation. Do you know why I need to rotate the file? Each time I rotate, it's a cave house, I'm cutting, denting. So open up the debris so files can drop down. So if I can get down to put the files in, drop to the end, then I've got a glide path. I try to make it nice and smooth, I just up and down. So in a nutshell, we have two motions. We try to rotate, quarter turn to cut. Once you get down to the end, bigger files, a size 15, open up a little bit more, or even a size 20, open a little more, to open up the top so the files can get down to the end. let's say I'm doing a lower molar, the mesial root of a lower molar. If you look at the studies, the apical size of the lower mesial root, majority is about 25 and 30. So one would ask why the files doesn't get down to the end. So which part is binding? Is the top part of the canal. So that's the reason why I put a size 15 to open the top, or use a size 20 to open to the top.
Is the light worse or better?
So before I go further, does it make sense to everyone? Where's my translator? Kim Saran? All good? Before I go too much further.
យកលេខពីគាត់និយាយមិញខ្ញុំសូមបកទៅទូដំបូងគឺមុននឹងយើងចាប់ដើមធ្វើប្រព័ន្ធកណាល់គឺយើងត្រូវតែដឹងពី anatomy កណាល់ដឹងពីចំនួនកណាល់អីសិនបន្ទាប់មកពេលដែលយើង negotiate កណាល់គឺយើងទៅ negotiate ទៅដល់ working length ហើយពេលដែលយើងទៅដល់ working length ហើយគឺយើងធ្វើដូចគាត់អញ្ចឹងគឺយើងប្រើ file លេខដែលតូចជាងគេហ្នឹងហើយយើង rotate វាដូចគាត់ធ្វើប្រហែលជា 1/4 ហើយកុំ rotate នឹងច្រើនជុំពេកអាចបាក់ file ហើយពេលដែលយើង rotate ហើយដល់កន្លែងដែលវា resistant វាថាវាលេងទៅមុខទៀតគឺយើង file នឹងទាញមកក្រៅដើម្បីឲ្យ debris ដែលយើងបានកាត់denting នៅខាងក្នុងហ្នឹងចេញមកក្រៅបន្ទាប់មកគឺយើងប្រើ irrigation រហូតពេលណាដែលយើងដក file ចេញគឺត្រូវតែមានតាក់ irrigation ហ្នឹងដើម្បីឲ្យ debris ហ្នឹងវាតែចេញមកក្រៅបន្ទាប់មកយើងធ្វើរហូតដល់ file របស់យើងហ្នឹងទៅដល់កន្លែង apical construction កន្លែងដែលយើងចង់បានឲ្យ working length ហ្នឹងហើយយើងធ្វើរហូតដល់វាធូរពេលណាដែលវាធូរហើយយើងអាចប្រូសាយ file ឲ្យមកលេខទៀត
Should I go? So what we have here, we confirm with my X-ray graph, X-ray, say the working length, we say 19.5. My size 10, I've been working up and down. Now while Dr. Kim is talking, you can see I can basically, it's a curved canal, I can easily put the 10 files in, pushing in, down, without rotating. See, I push it down, I don't have to turn, I don't have to cut. So right now I have what I call glide path to size 10.
ចឹងពេលណាដែលឧទាហរណ៍ថាប្រវែងដែលគាត់ធ្វើហ្នឹង 19.5 អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលគាត់ធ្វើដំបូងយើងដឹងតែការមូលបន្តិចមូលទីនៃមុំហ្នឹងដើម្បីកាត់តែបន្តិចពេលដែលគាត់ធ្វើរហូតដល់វាធូរគាត់ទៅវិញទៅវាចូលដល់កន្លែង working length ហើយអញ្ចឹងគាត់ចាប់ដើមលូទៅលើ wall ដើម្បីពង្រីកជាងventilation តិចគេហៅថា glide path.
So if you want to start, first time you start, it's always good to prep to, this is an E file, doesn't matter, to prep the apex to 15, but majority of cases you want to use rotary because it's a fine curve. Let's say I'm happy with the size 10 glide path, but if I have a size 15 glide path, it's even better. So
ចឹងគាត់ថាបើសិនជាគាត់បានកន្លែងផាសវាខ្សែ file លេខ10ហើយអញ្ចឹងគាត់អាចប្រើទៅផាសបានប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាយើងអាចពង្រីកកន្លែងផាសវាដល់ file លេខ15អញ្ចឹងកាន់តែងាយស្រួលសម្រាប់ rotary របស់យើងនឹងចូលយកទៅការប្រើកម្លាំងខ្លាំង
So now what they suggest is you go from the left to right. So you go from what I call a 2508 taper, means a size 25N, with an 08 taper to 2004 and to the apex to the 2504. So it means that
They actually say for the canal to start with the middle
អ
one.
ញ្ចឹងអ្វីដែលគេកំណត់គេឲ្យចាប់ដើម file ពីខាងឆ្វេងទៅខាងស្ដាំដែល file ពីខាងឆ្វេងទី1ហ្នឹង
that's right. That's right.
For the canal.
taper វា O6 06 taper ហើយបន្តមក file បន្តគឺខ្សែលេខ20 taper វា04ហើយបន្តមកទៀតគឺខ្សែលេខ20ដូចគ្នា taper វា06
So what they have suggested is, without putting the files in, they would suggest use this 2508 to open the orifice.
អញ្ចឹងដំបូងយើងប្រើ file ខាងឆ្វេងហ្នឹងគឺលេខ25 taper មិនវា08ដើម្បីបើកនៅ canal orifice
But I would suggest that you should get at least the size 10 glide path first before you consider the orifice opening.
អញ្ចឹងមុននឹងយើងចាប់ដើមប្រើខ្សែ valve លេខ25 taper 08យើងគួរតែធ្វើ glide path លេខ10ហ្នឹងឲ្យវាលាយទៅដល់គ្នាសិន
So two reasons. One is you can see, if I put my size 10 files in, I can see the shape of the canal. You can see it's a curved root. So we know right in my mind I'm dealing with a distal curve. I understand the anatomy of the root.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលយើងបានធ្វើ glide path ហ្នឹងយើងឃើញថា file លេខ10ដែលគាត់បានប្រើហ្នឹងគឺវាកោងអញ្ចឹងយើងយល់ថា canal ដែលយើងកំពុងតែធ្វើហ្នឹងគឺវាកោងអញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវប្រយ័ត្ន
Understand that now this is a straight pathway. So what I would do, I would probably put a 2508 in, like what he said, but just remember your files, your apex right now is a 10 is only go down to the end. So if you understand the size 10 O2 taper, the middle part of the canal is size 25. If you know, understand like 10, then 10 is 12, 12, 17, 17. So you open up 25, only the middle part of the root. So what you should do, your 2508 should never go beyond the middle part of the root. What you're trying to do is what I call orifice opening. You just want to open up the top.
អញ្ចឹងគាត់ថាពេលណាដែលយើងប្រើ file លេខ8សំដៅលេខ10 glide path ហ្នឹងគឺ diameter របស់វា1 មីលីម៉ែត្រអញ្ចឹងសំដៅ0.1 មីលីម៉ែត្រអញ្ចឹងបើសិនជា
The files into the canal, let it drop.
អញ្ចឹងពេលយើងជន់ឲ្យវា well សិនហើយយើងដាក់ finger arrangement យើងហើយដើម្បីងាយយើង control ហើយយើងតម្លាក់ file ចូលយឺត
So when you let it drop, you can feel there's a little bit of tension there, then put it up.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលយើងដាក់ចូលមានអារម្មណ៍ថាវាពិតជាយើងវាតឹងអញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវដកវាចេញភ្លាមយើងអត់ឲ្យទុកយូរឯណាទុកយូរវាស្អិត
I would do it probably 3 times and I'll take it out.
អញ្ចឹងគាត់ធ្វើអញ្ចឹងប្រហែល2 ដងគាត់ធ្វើពេលដែលវាតឹងភ្លាមគាត់ដកចេញភ្លាម
Then I would irrigate with a bit of irrigation.
ហើយគាត់ត្រូវប្រើទឹក irrigation ចន្លោះម្ដង
Then I recapitulate it, make sure the files is not, the canal is not blocked. Means we put a size 10 in.
ហើយគាត់ប្រើ file លេខ10នឹងដែរដើម្បី irrigate យក debris នឹងចេញ
So you realize that now, because the top part had opened a bit more, my 10 is actually just dropped down now. I don't have to push too much now.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលយើងប្រើ taper មិញ08ហ្នឹងគឺឃើញថាពេលដែលយើងដាក់ file លេខ10ចូលហ្នឹងគឺវាងាយស្រួលចូលទៅដល់ working land ហ្នឹង
So once I make sure the 10 go back to the glide path, 2 reasons: I don't want to block the canal. I want to remove all the debris in the canal.
អញ្ចឹងមូលហេតុដែលគាត់ប្រើ file លេខ10ហ្នឹងគឺគាត់អត់ចង់ឲ្យវាស្ទះ canal គឺយើងចង់ remove យក debris ពី canal.
The more you have debris in, the more you push the rubbish out, the more likely you can get flare up.
អញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាយើងនៅមាន debris នៅក្នុង canal នឹងកាន់តែច្រើនអញ្ចឹងការដែលយើងយកដាក់ file ចូលហ្នឹងវារុញអា debris នឹងចេញទៅក្រៅ canal វាអាចចូលឆ្អឹងវាអាចធ្វើ irritate លើ periapical tissue ហ្នឹង
Then what you do, you need to clean the rotary files. The more debris you have the files in, the more stress you put onto the files.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលយើងដក file ចេញយើងឃើញថាមាន category ជាប់ទៅលើ file អញ្ចឹងវាបង្កឲ្យមាន stress ទៅលើ file ហ្នឹងកាន់តែខ្លាំង
So more stress, more likely fractured.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលមាន stress ទៅលើ file ខ្លាំងវាងាយបាក់បែក
Then you had, and for certain the files won't get down at all. So now we turn it on and let it drop in again. So once you pull it up, then pull it out.
អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលគាត់មានសម្អាតហើយគាត់ចាំបានធ្វើដូចមុនហ្នឹងគឺពេលដាក់ចូលទៀតវាស្អាតពីដកតែជា3 second.
Then I irrigate again.
ហើយគាត់លាងម្ដងទៀត irrigate ម្ដងទៀត
And you make sure your hand files will go down. So each time you find that your size 10 getting much looser.
ហើយបន្ទាប់ពីគាត់នេះ irrigate គាត់ប្រើ file លេខ10ហ្នឹងដើម្បីលាងយក conductivity ហ្នឹងឲ្យចេញក្រៅ
You can see it just drop down
ហើយកណ្ដាលហ្នឹងកាន់តែធូរទៅ
Drag down to the end. Go back to home. Then make sure you clean the files again.
ហើយទៅលាងជូតសម្អាត file ហ្នឹងឲ្យស្អាតកំទីយកហ្នឹង
Then let it drop the files again.
ហើយយើងចាប់ដើមធ្វើម្ដងទៀតមុន
So irrigate. So because these files have a variable pitch, so it doesn't drag you in as much, you can put a little bit of finger pressure in. You push a little bit, but quickly pull up.
អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលយើងដាក់គឺយើងអត់ប្រើកម្លាំងខ្លាំងទេគឺយើងទៅថ្នមហើយយើងទីវាចេញវិញ
So not like the old pro taper, they actually drag you in, you have to pull the files out. This one you probably can put a slight finger pressure there, let it slowly drop, then pull up. Slowly drop and pull up. Slowly drop and pull up. Never leave the file like that. Oh, don't do that. Okay.
អញ្ចឹងពេលដែល file ហ្នឹងវាអំទីចូលហើយយើងត្រូវដកវាចេញហើយដូចគាត់បង្ហាញអញ្ចឹងហើយហាមដាក់ file ហ្នឹងនៅយូរក្នុងហ្នឹង
If you leave the file for too long, you're going to straighten the canal.
ពេលណាដែលយើងដាក់ file ហ្នឹងយូរអញ្ចឹងវាអាកណាលហ្នឹងពីកោងវាមកត្រង់វិញហើយ transportation
And most likely you get torsional fracture. It means the tip will lock into the canal.
អាចធ្វើបាក់ file នេះដែរ
So now you can see my 2508 almost get to the mid region.
អញ្ចឹងអា file លេខ25 paper 08ហ្នឹងជិតទៅដល់កន្លែង working length ដែលគាត់បានចង់បានហើយ
And my 10 is quite nice and loose.
file មុនគាត់ឲ្យដាក់ទៅកាន់តែធូរជាងមុនខ្លាំងជាងមុន
So what I do now, I would change to, because the 10 is so loose now, I try to get my apex to 15.
អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលគាត់រៀនធូរអញ្ចឹងគាត់ព្យាយាមពង្រីកឲ្យកន្លែងខាងហ្នឹងទៅ file លេខ15ពីលេខ10ទៅលេខ15
So do the same motion, you do rotate.
អញ្ចឹងដូចគ្នាពេលដែលយើងពង្រីកឲ្យកន្លែងខាងហ្នឹងគឺយើង rotate វាមួយពីមួយ
Wash one and push. Wash one and push. Okay, you can always unblock if a size 10. See now I can just drop like home. See, it drop like home. So
គឺដាក់ file លេខ10ទៅវិញគាត់ទៅលាក់ចូល block មក
see how that it just drop to the end of root without much rotating. Now this is what I call glide path.
ពេលដែលយើងដាក់ទៅវាចូលទៅដល់ working length ដែលយើងចង់បានហ្នឹងគេហៅថា glide path
See, most rotary system you can get that to the end.
អញ្ចឹង rotary system យើងអាចដាក់ទៅដល់ចុង
Then you can finish the preparation in less than 5-10 minutes. That's the secret.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលយើងធ្វើការ prepare កណ្ដាលវាអាចចំណាយពេលតិច5ទៅ10នាទីហើយបាទ
So if you can get size 10 to the end, then you can try to get a 15 to the end now.
អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលគាត់ប្រើ file លេខ10ហើយលើគាត់ប្រើ file លេខ15
Okay, then what I do now, I would go change to a 2004.
អញ្ចឹងបន្ទាប់មកគាត់បដូរអាសាយលេខបន្ទាប់គឺលេខ20 taper 04នោះ
So what we have here now, we have the top part of the canal opened up by 2508.
អញ្ចឹងយើងបានពង្រីកខាងលើដោយ file លេខ25 taper 08ហើយ
I have the apex about size 15.
អញ្ចឹងឯពេករបស់យើងគឺ because of វាលេខ15
So now I'm trying to get a 2004 down to the apex.
អញ្ចឹងគាត់ចាប់ដើមពង្រីកឲ្យវាទៅដល់ខ្សែ file លេខ20ហើយ taper វា04ទៅដល់ចុង
So it's about 2 mil short of the working length, which is about 17. That's the part is about size 20 already.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលយើងពង្រីកដល់ប្រវែង17ទំហំ file ហ្នឹងប្រហែលជាលេខ20ហើយ
So it's all the way, the tip of the 2004 is not binding. The end of the files is not binding in the canal because the top is all open up.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលខាងផ្នែកខាងលើបានបើកធំហើយអញ្ចឹងអាខាងចុងហ្នឹងវាអត់ល្ងូទេ
So just make sure it's got a nice glide path with a 15.
អញ្ចឹងគាត់គាត់ check មិនគាត់ check ម្ដងទៀតពីកន្លែងខាងហ្នឹងទៅ file លេខ15ឲ្យធូរ
Now I'm going to put exactly the same way how we do it, we let it drop. You find that it drop it quite fast because the top is all open by 2508. See? I'm so close to the apex now. Don't let it pull it up. See, you try to drag it in. So resist the temptation. Stop.
អញ្ចឹងដោយសារយើងបើកអាខាងលើ side file 25 taper OA ហើយអញ្ចឹងពេលដែលគាត់ប្រើ2004អញ្ចឹងវាដាក់ចូលវាគៀកទៅដល់នឹងមួយ clean បាត់ហើយ
So remember, we went to a lecture. This files is the heat. I probably forgot to mention is heat treated at the end.
អញ្ចឹងយើងមិនយើងដឹងថា file ហ្នឹងគឺវា process ដោយកម្ដៅ
You can see the valve start to form the shape of a canal. It hasn't straightened up. You see the little curve there.
យើងឃើញថា file ហ្នឹងវាកោងនៅផ្នែកខាងចុងវាអត់មានត្រង់ទេ
This is called a control memory. It's not like the first generation. They all straighten up. That's why they can maintain the shape of the curve. You can see it stay curved.
អញ្ចឹងបានគេហៅថាវាជាវាមាន function មួយគេ control memory មានថាពេលណាដែលកណ្ដោវាកោងគឺវានៅសរសើរភាពកោងដដែល
Then if you put the files back into autoclave, it will straighten straight away.
អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលយើងប្រើ file ហ្នឹងសម្អាត file ហើយដាក់ autoclave ឲ្យកម្ដៅវានឹងត្រង់មកវិញខ្លួនឯង
So now we again, every time you play with it, then make sure your 15 will go to the end.
អញ្ចឹងយើងប្រើ file លេខ15ដូចមិនយើងយកគេតែប្រើ file លេខ15ដល់ទៅដល់
So now you can see my 15, it just drop to the end without much pushing. See that? It's all dropped to the end.
ឥឡូវយើងឃើញ file លេខ15ហ្នឹងវាកាន់តែដាក់ទៅវាធ្លាក់ចូលទៅដល់ working length ដល់អាច push មិនដូចទេ
So what I would do is actually the first time you use it, I would probably try to open up the apex with 20.
អញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាយើងលើកទី1ដែលប្រើ rotary ហ្នឹងក៏ចង់ក៏ឲ្យ recommend ឲ្យយើងប្រើកន្លែងខាងទៅដល់លេខ20សិន
Why? Because I don't want the tip of the 2004 binding too much.
ព្រោះក៏ចង់អត់ចង់ឲ្យ file លេខ20 taper 04ហ្នឹងវាល្មូខាងចុងខ្លាំងពេក
Then I get a size 10 drop down to the end, nice and smooth. I mean 15, irrigation. Now we drop the files in. I forgot to clean the files, so your assistant, your DA should quickly clean the files on, cleans the files for you, and let it drop. You have to try dragging it a bit to put. So now we're the end.
ចឹងពេលវាទីចូលបន្តិចគឺយើងត្រូវទាញចេញមកវិញហើយលើកជើងទឹកចប់ហើយជើងចប់
Now you can see the 20 drop to the end nicely because we had prepared the canal to 2004.
អញ្ចឹងឥឡូវយើងបាន prepare canal ទៅដល់ file លេខ20 taper 04
So sometimes if you have a very severe curvature canal, a 2004 is actually not a bad preparation.
អញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាយើងមាន canal វាកោងខ្លាំងអញ្ចឹងលេខ20 taper 04លេខ04ហ្នឹងគឺអាចទទួលយកបាន
But we also know that for irrigation to get down to the canal, normally we prefer to the apex to 25 because we know that the needle of this canal doesn't go deep enough. So if I can open the apex to 25, then we can allow more irrigation. So that's why it'd be nice if I can prepare the canal to 2504.
អញ្ចឹងក្នុងការដែលយើង prepare canal យ៉ាងតូចណាស់គឺ file ដែលយើងប្រើហ្នឹងខាង application stock របស់យើងយ៉ាងតូចគឺលេខ25ហេតុអីបានជាយើងចាំបាច់បានទៅលេខ25យ៉ាងតិចដោយសារពេលណាដែលយើងប្រើ irrigation បញ្ចូល irrigation ហ្នឹងទៅវាងាយឲ្យទឹក irrigation ហ្នឹងវាចូលទៅដល់ចុងហ្នឹងបានល្អ
So what we do now, make sure my 20 is nice and smooth. Now my glide path between to 20 is because my aim is to have an apex 25. So this is going to be my glide path file.
អញ្ចឹងក៏ប្រើ file លេខ20ហ្នឹងជា glide path របស់គាត់ព្រោះគោលបំណងរបស់គាត់ក៏ចង់បានឲ្យ call stop របស់គាត់ហ្នឹងលេខ25
So let the 2004 go a few times, get it nice and smooth.
អញ្ចឹងក៏ព្យាយាមប្រើលេខ20 taper 04ហ្នឹងម្ដងទៀតដើម្បីឲ្យវា smooth ហើយរលោងទៅ wall
So what we're doing now, we're doing a bit of brushing motion. We what I call brush away from the furcation, the danger zone.
អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលយើងសម្អាតគឺយើង movement របស់យើងដូចយើងដុសច្រាសយើងបោកតាមជាង
Let's say I'm doing a lower molar mesibuccal root.
អញ្ចឹងឧទាហរណ៍ថាគាត់ធ្វើទៅលើ lower molar mesobuccal root
So we go in, we brush against to the mesibuccal side. Make it nice.
គាត់ចូលទុកប៉ាងចូលហើយបោករូបវាទៅតាមវល់ទៅខាងបាក់ខុស mesobuccal ផ្នែកនៃ mesobuccal ហ្នឹង
You can see the block there, the canal is still maintain the curvature.
អញ្ចឹងយើងឃើញថា block ដែលយើងធ្វើហ្នឹងគឺវានៅតែកោងអាកន្លែង canal លើនៅខាងក្នុងគឺនៅតែកោងដដែលគឺដោយសាររូបវានៅដដែល
So now I have this 2004 is quite loose. Now I can jump into my final destination is the 2504.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលគាត់លេខ20 taper 04ហើយគុំហើយគាត់ត្រូវប៉ោលចុងកញ្ចក់គឺលេខ25 04
So again, let it turn it on, let it slowly drop. Never push it.
យើងដាក់ចូលហើយយើងកុំមើលវាខ្លាំងពេកឲ្យវាចូលទីចូលក្នុងវាស្នង
So 3 times, almost there, very close.
អញ្ចឹងបន្ទាប់ពី3ដងយើងទាញចេញហ្នឹងស្ទើរមាន
See now I can. So before I put a 25 in, make sure my 20 is nice and loose.
មុននឹងគាត់ដាក់លេខ25ហ្វាលេខ25ចូលត្រូវតែប្រកាសថាលេខ20ហ្នឹងវារលុងហើយវាចូលទៅដល់0
Then I put my 25 in, probably a few quarter turn. We got the apex to 20 now, 25 now.
អញ្ចឹងគាត់ប្រើចាប់តាមប្រើហ្វាលេខ25ហើយលើ
So just see how I do it. A quarter turn, rotate up,
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលគាត់ដាក់ចូល
rotate
គាត់បង្វិលបាយ
up,
វា4ហើយគាត់ទាញចេញ
rotate up. So this rotation is only for K files, reamers, the most, but not for Hastron files.
អញ្ចឹងការធ្វើ rotation ហ្នឹងគឺអាចប្រើបានចំពោះតែ K file ឬក៏ reamer ទេហើយហាមប្រើជាមួយ H file
Now with the 2504 would go down so nicely.
អញ្ចឹងលេខ25 taper 04ហ្នឹងវាចូលដល់
See, I got it down to the end. Bing. They just congratulate me right to the end. So now we got a 2504 prep. So once get to the end, I won't go into too many times because each time you go in, you open up the files, open up a canal bigger. So if you want to use their GP, you don't want to be a 20 half what we call 20 point something 04. If you want to smooth it, I'll go back to my 2004 to smooth the canal or get a size 20 to smooth it. My 25 should just drop like that to the end. That's it. Don't rotate anymore. Each time you rotate, you open up a little bit bigger.
អញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលគាត់ប្រើ file ចុងក្រោយហ្នឹងគឺគាត់ប្រើ file លេខ20ដើម្បីរូបដើម្បីយើងសម្អាតកំតិនឹងចេញគឺគាត់អត់ប្រើ file លេខ25ដើម្បីមូលរូបវាទៀតទេព្រោះបើសិនជាយើងប្រើ file លេខ25មូលរូបវាទៀតអញ្ចឹងប្រហែលជាទំហំកណ្ដាលហ្នឹងគឺធំជាងលេខ25ហើយអញ្ចឹងពេលណាដែលយើងប្រើ GP ហ្នឹងចូលអញ្ចឹងវាអាចរលុងឬអត់ fit ល្អណែនល្អ
Dr. Kohn asked me to mention about 9 tied hand file, which is I probably don't use as much now because using the what I call a balance force technique. So I haven't used that. You just quarter turn and rotate. So 9 tie files, you turn the other direction first, turn anti-rotation, then you turn clockwise direction to push up because that file is actually more flexible. So by using the balance force, it slowly flow down to canal. I found that in my hands, I prefer, if I calcify canals, I prefer stiffer files. Do this motion, it's more efficient than doing a 9 tie because I can pre-curve the file itself which 9 times I can't. I can pre-curve the files just a little bit like that. You see on the screen. That little angle there. Then I know the curvature is like that. I put it in. That will go down to the curvature. If it's a canal's ledge, whereas 9 times I can't really pre-curve.
អញ្ចឹងដោយក្នុងស្គីមខូនក៏គាត់បានបញ្យល់គាត់បានបញ្ចេញជំនឿថាអាចប្រើពពួក night high ដល់បានហើយប៉ុន្តែក៏ night high ហ្នឹងគឺវា flexible ហ្នឹងវាខ្លាំងអញ្ចឹងពេលដែលយើងពេលវាបត់ពុតវាឲ្យកោងទៅតាមканалរបស់យើងគឺវាពិបាកនឹងពុតព្រោះវាមាន flexible ជាង
So just to summarize, what we need to do is before you put a rotary in, number one, you need to know the anatomy.
អញ្ចឹងគាត់ថាជារំលឹកឡើងវិញអ្វីដែលសំខាន់មុននឹងយើងប្រើ rotary ទៅតែយល់អំពី anatomy មិនថ្មី
You need to have a guess working length by looking at the radiograph.
អញ្ចឹងត្រូវតែមាន estimate working length ច្បាស់លាស់ថាតើប្រវែង working length របស់យើងប្រវែងប៉ុន្មាន
You need to put a size 10 files in down to the end without much pressure as a glide path file.
ហើយត្រូវតែប្រកាសថាយើងមាន file លេខ20លេខ10ដើម្បីទៅដល់ខាងចុងនៃapplication construction ហ្នឹង
Then you confirm your working length. If a 0.5 or 1 out off is close enough for me.
ហើយតើមកយើងត្រូវមានថត X-ray ដើម្បី confirm working length ហើយបើសិនជាវា 0.5 ឬ 1 mm នៅពីទៅនឹងណាប់
Then you
ទទួលយកបាន
make sure your 10 is back to the confirmed working length.
ហើយ
The side.
បញ្ជាក់ working length ច្បាស់លាស់
Then you can start with your 2508 to open up the top half of the roots in most cases.
បន្ទាប់មកគឺយើងប្រើ file លេខ25 taper 08ដើម្បីបើកនៅ colonel ខាងលើ
Then I make sure then I can work my size 10 to 15 down to the working length.
បន្ទាប់មកគឺយើងប្រើ file លេខ10ឬក៏15ទៅដល់ working length.
Then I get my 2004 down to the length.
ហើយបន្ទាប់មកក៏ប្រើ size file លេខ20 taper 04ទៅដល់ length ហ្នឹង
Or then if you want to, you can open to 2504, but I'd prepare the apex to 25 before I put my 2504 down to the end.
អញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាយើងចង់បន្តឲ្យវាកណាត់ពង្រីកឲ្យធំជាងហ្នឹងក៏យើងអាចធ្វើទៅបានដែរប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាយើងចង់ឲ្យវាពង្រីកដល់ធំលេខ25 taper 04អញ្ចឹងត្រូវតែប្រកាសថាfile កន្លែងខាងរបស់យើងប្រើ file លេខ25ឲ្យដល់ working length សិនមុននឹងយើងប្រើ file លេខ25 taper 04
So the whole idea is I just reduce the chance of torsional fracture. The tip is not biting too much.
អញ្ចឹងមូលហេតុដែលគាត់ឲ្យធ្វើអញ្ចឹងគឺគាត់អត់ចង់ឲ្យ file ហ្នឹងវាបាញជាមួយទៅនឹងសាច់ដែលថ្មីហ្នឹងខ្លាំងវាអាចធ្វើឲ្យបាក់ file ហ្នឹងឲ្យ torsional fractures.
Any more question?
មានសំណួរអីឆ្ងល់អាចសួរបានបន្ទាប់ពីយើងអនុវត្តអស់គ្នា
How about the torch of the machine?
So
Speed.
I think there's a recommend. What's the recommended 2250? I think I can't remember.
What was that, Mark?
The torque setting was.
2.5. I don't know. It's close to
សុំតិចទៀតសុំខាងយើងនឹងធ្វើ demonstrate ពី observation technique ហើយបន្ទាប់ពីយើងធ្វើ demonstrate observation technique ហើយគឺយើងចាប់តាមអនុវត្តទាំងអស់គ្នាគឺយើងបញ្ចប់សិក្ខាសាលា
I think 2.5 torque is good enough. Yeah.
ហើយមួយទៀតនៅក្នុង
Because each file is a
យើង
different
សូមឲ្យ
system.
set វាទៅលេខ500 RPM ហើយ torque របស់វាគឺ 300 G cm គេជា set ទេវាមានលេខនៅលើហ្នឹងណា set វាឲ្យទៅលេខ500 RPM ជួយ
it's 500 RPM.
Oh, sorry. It's 500 RPM and 300.
300 grams centimeters.
So 3.0 RPM and 500. But 3.0 torque and speed is 500.
Yeah, 3.02.
Yeah.